In 1986, he appeared in Dirty Dancing as Dr. Jake Houseman, the protective father. The role was small, the film was not. Dirty Dancing grossed $170 million worldwide. The soundtrack sold 42 million copies. His line, "I carried a watermelon," became a running joke among fans. Jennifer Grey later said, "Orbach was the dad everyone wanted, stern but warm. He told long Broadway stories between takes. The crew gathered around him." In 1990, he entered a recording studio for Walt Disney Animation. He voiced Lumière, the candelabra, in Beauty and the Beast. He recorded the song "Be Our Guest" with Angela Lansbury and a full orchestra. He approached animation like theater, no audience, no costume, just a microphone and his instrument. The film was released in 1991. It grossed $425 million worldwide. It was nominated for Best Picture, the first animated film ever nominated. Orbach's performance introduced him to a new generation. Children knew his voice before they knew his face. In 1992, he was cast as Detective Lennie Briscoe on Law and Order. The role was originally written for a younger actor. The producers took a risk. Orbach was 57 years old, gray hair, a weathered face, a voice that sounded like he had seen everything. He played Briscoe as a recovering alcoholic, twice divorced, a daughter estranged, a partner who was murdered. He carried the weight of the city on his shoulders. He also carried a dry wit. At the end of every episode, he delivered a one-liner. The audience waited for it. The done-done moment. He remained on Law and Order for 12 seasons, over 200 episodes. He became the face of the franchise. He also appeared on Law and Order, Trial by Jury, before his death. The role made him wealthy. More importantly, it made him iconic. New Yorkers recognized him on the street. They called him Detective Briscoe. He did not mind. He said the character was honest, a man trying to do a difficult job without losing his soul. In December 2004, Orbach was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He had known for months. He kept working. He filmed his final Law and Order episode in November. He died on December 28, 2004, at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in Manhattan. He was 69 years old. The lights of Broadway were dimmed in his honor, a tribute reserved for the most significant figures in American theater. The New York City Marathon dimmed the lights at the finish line in Central Park. He was the only actor to receive that honor. He was survived by his wife, Marta, and his two sons, Tony and Chris. His son Chris became an actor and voice artist. He performed in Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and Law and Order Special Victims Unit. He also voiced a character in Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. The Orbach legacy continued. Jerry Orbach never finished college. He never learned to drive a car. He lived in New York his entire adult life. He took the subway to work. He ate at diners. He knew the city like the back of his hand. That knowledge bled into every performance. He was not playing a New Yorker. He was one. His voice remains in Try to Remember from the Fantastics, in Razzle Dazzle from Chicago, in Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast, in the final one-liner of every Law and Order episode, the gravel, the warmth, the wit, the man who was always the new kid, who learned to read the room, who became the room itself. He once said the secret to acting was listening, not waiting for your turn to speak, really listening, He listened to Broadway, he listened to Hollywood, he listened to the city, and the city listened back. He never sought the spotlight, yet the spotlight found him anyway. That was the quiet paradox of Jerry Orbach. In an industry built on auditions and rejection, on the desperate clawing for the next job, he moved differently. He worked steadily for 4 decades, not because he was the loudest in the room, but because he was the most present. Directors trusted him. Stage managers loved him. Other actors studied him. He had a way of standing slightly off-center, shoulders relaxed, eyes scanning the scene like a chess player already 3 moves ahead. That posture came from years of summer stock, of performing in crumbling theaters where the paint peeled and the audience coughed through the second act. He learned early that the show must go on, and he never forgot it. When a co-star forgot a line, Orbach fed it to them without breaking character. When a prop broke on stage, he improvised. When the microphone failed during a televised performance, he projected to the back of the studio as if nothing had happened. He was not a diva. He was a craftsman. He arrived early. He knew his lines before the first read-through. He stayed late to help the stagehands strike the set. That humility came from his father, a salesman who taught him that no job was beneath a person who wanted to work. Orbach carried that lesson from off-Broadway loft spaces to the Dolby Theater. He treated the stage manager with the same respect he gave the director. He remembered the names of the catering staff. He sent handwritten thank you notes to understudies who never went on. That decency rippled outward. Decades after the Fantastics closed, cast members still spoke of him as the North Star of that production. He was the one who kept everyone calm during dress rehearsals, the one who bought coffee for the crew at 3 in the morning, the one who never complained about the small dressing room or the cold draft from the wings. He understood that theater was a collective act of faith, a temporary community built on trust, and he protected that community like a father protecting his children. That is why Broadway dimmed its lights for him, not because he was the most famous, not because he had the most awards, because he was the most beloved. See you in the next part.